Hi everyone! So I'm sure you guys remember this Joslyn MV121 that I did a review on, I think a couple months ago now. But I've recently acquired another MV121, but this one's a little bit different. Let me go ahead and pan the camera up here and show you. Wow, look at that. Let's go ahead and do a review on it today. So just like in my video of my other 121, this Streetlight, I'm going to start off talking about it with it standing up. As like the other one, you can see this light is very wide and very long at the same time. But this Joslyn's a little bit more interesting, as I believe this is the first generation MV121, but some people have also called it the second gen. I don't really know what year this is from exactly, or like what time period, but this is apparently from the early 60s. There's not a lot of information about this specific MV121 out there, but I will say that this one is 175 watts mercury vapor. It has a 240 volt choke coil ballast in it. There's no capacitors or any other multi-taps in here. It's just a 240 volt 175 watt light. This light came from a place called, I can't say it correctly sometimes, Royersford, Pennsylvania, and I drove all the way out there as this municipal was replacing some streetlights that are owned by a company who owns the utilities over there called Pecco in Pennsylvania. And that area has a lot of really rare streetlights still around. The town next to this one had a lot of really crazy old incandescent street lighting still in service, but the town that this one was in, the city contractors were, I guess, they had bid on doing the job of replacing everything there with LED fixtures. There used to be a ton of these in Royersford along the streets. I think there were about probably 30 or 40 of them along the streets and main streets, and they were all apparently the same. They were all originally 175 watts mercury. There were some there that were converted to HPS, and probably some that were converted to pulse start metal halide. So unlike the other MV121 that I had recently did a video on, this one definitely has some differences in design, and I'm going to go ahead and bring the other one down just to show you what those design differences are. So let me make sure that's in camera and we can talk about the differences on this light. And I will stand here and kind of flip the lights around. So before I actually go into this light, I want to compare some really simple things. Obviously the glass on these are both completely different. This is a unique glass to this fixture. It is not, this does not have the same rim pattern as this glass, as where this glass is actually a Pyrex style glass that Westinghouse and a couple other brands used later on. But Joslyn used this first, and it has a standard rim, and this is pretty much interchangeable with every other small Cobra head from its time and later on now. So this glass is unique, and this one is pretty stock standard. Obviously, the door is completely different. You can see on this version, this looks like the door that would go on an MV141, because there's like this rim here. And basically what this is the pressed cutout where they would cut the light out so that, you know, that MV141 lens could fit. But they, you know, they just cut it small for a smaller lens. Now this newer version, MV121, the second gen, does not have it. It has its own custom fabricated door that goes with its light. I don't know what that was. So those are some differences that you can see right off the bat on the front. If we flip it to the back here, and some of these are a little different, but your second gen Joslyn, this one doesn't want to stay up. Your first and second gen Joslyn here, there's some differences on the back. Now, some of these first gens like this do have this top, but some of them are like this where it's pressed, it has this pressed detail in it. and your photocell socket is actually moved up towards the front a little bit more on this. As to where with these newer ones, they have this just pretty standard flat back, and then this spot right down here is where your photocell would go. Of course, like I had said in my last video, the one I have here does not have a photocell socket, but I am planning on trying to find one, so hopefully I can show you guys some pictures soon. But that would be where your photocell socket would be on here. So again, it's completely different, and you'll see actually on the inside of that one is actually already equipped to hold MV121 parts, and I'll show you that when we get into the fixture. But yeah, some pretty major differences on the outside of these two fixtures. So yeah, I find that really, really interesting. But let me go ahead. I'm going to put this one away now, and we can go ahead and take a much closer look at this fixture right here. Alright, so I went ahead and laid the fixture down. I'm going to go ahead and come around the camera here, and I'll just kind of talk about the outside for now. So like I had said, you could see this detail here, this imprint in the front here, this rim that's been pressed. This light, this door is pressed for really an MV141 lens. However, I guess to make things a little cheaper, they just used the same door and just cut a hole out right here just for the lens. So you got this weird detailing here. Now I said the word pressed. The Joslyn MV style lights, are very unique. They have a pressed aluminum housing. Most streetlights are cast aluminums, which is basically aluminum just poured into a cast mold, but this is not the case. This is a pressed aluminum. It goes into a press machine, and it goes into like an imprint plate, and it's pressed in there, and then when it's done, it comes back out as this, as this shape. So pretty unique. The only bad thing about these pressed aluminum Joslyns is they are extremely prone to denting, pretty much like a car or anything, as where cast aluminum doesn't dent as easily. So definitely the weakest point, I will say right off the bat on this light. But I will say, as long as these aren't dented and scratched and taken good care of, these fixtures will last forever. So it's not really a big deal. As long as these things are being taken good care of, they will last. But yeah, a pretty interesting piece of information there for you guys who don't know much about streetlights. I'll flip it over to the back real quick. Again, you can see the back design. I'm a little sad that the later versions actually didn't keep this, but I really like this first gen press. It's very unique. These versions of this light are extremely rare, and that's because of how these are designed. This extra detailing and pressed detail in here is super, super, super cool. Now, I'd be curious to see what ones without a photocell look like. I'm assuming without the photocell, they probably have this detail back here, but they maybe, the ones like my other one, it wouldn't have the base for the photocell, or it probably wouldn't have this little detail coming out right here. So it's kind of cool to see this extra little piece of detail on this version, and it's sad that it's not been carried over to the later versions. I would be interested in seeing a MV141 with this top housing too. So yeah, really nice. And the photocell socket here, I'll go ahead and zoom in on that for you guys. There's our photocell socket on here. Now some of these, like I said, sometimes these photocell sockets are pushed towards the back, and that's because they have the more modern style housing. So again, actually, I'm going to say this again, I'm really cool to have this version of this light. But going into the photocell here, you can see this lovely metal and ceramic design photocell they got here, and it is pretty good. To position your photocell socket, all you gotta do is undo these two screws here. Now mine's a little sticky, I haven't really cleaned it much, but all you gotta do is, oh, there we go, it did it anyway. Unscrew those a little bit, it loosens a spinning plate, so you can spin and put it in whatever position you need to. So I'm gonna put this back with north facing that way, and then you just screw it back down, and voila, it holds, well, it holds the photocell in place where it needs to be. So pretty nice. GE and Westinghouse kind of did the same exact thing too, so pretty cool. And the photocell that I have for this light, when I got this light, the guy didn't give it to me with the photocell, unfortunately, but I don't think it had a cool photocell to begin with anyway. But I went ahead and got this photocell from some other lights I got. It's just a Fisher Pierce 1980s photocell socket. And it's the one where it has the specific piece of plastic here, which the glue is given away on this one, but I'll glue it back, where it kind of just clips into the front like so. Pretty nice, and it does work still, so that's good. I went ahead and just decided to assign this photocell to this fixture for now, so pretty cool. Let's go ahead and take that back off. I'm going to flip this light back over now. And let's go ahead and look at the insides of this fixture and see what it looks like. To get your fixture open, it's pretty simple. Joslyn has these little buttons on the front. All you gotta do is press that in like so. Then you can lift the screw open like so. And there's a little hinge piece on the back that kind of couples it in. You just kind of gotta push down on it sometimes as these older ones stick. This one's a little sticky. There we go. To undo it, and there. Your door is off. I'll go ahead and set that over to the side so we can take a look at it. Okay, so again you can see all that pressed material. Here is the stainless steel hinge that's on the back of the fixture. Pretty good. There's a little bit of corrosion. This thing came from the east where it does snow a lot and they get a lot of nor'easters type weather. So some salt from the roads I'm sure have gotten up into this light, but other than that, all I gotta do is just polish this when I go to restore it. Has a really nice high quality button style spring latch here in the front. Pretty cool. It's actually in really good shape. Sometimes these get a little sticky, but this one's not bad at all. Let's go ahead and take our glass out now. So the glass is pretty simple to remove. All you gotta do is spin this little tab here and slide it out on that little tab on the front there, and voila! The glass is out. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the other MV121 glass, and I want to compare the glass from across these fixtures. Alright, so I've gotten all three pieces of glass out here. So real quick before I compare every style of Joslyn MV121 glass, I want to say something real quick that people are probably really familiar with. This glass right here. So the Joslyn MV121 is pretty much known for having this glass, and I finally got a Joslyn, another MV121 with this style of glass. This is the pretty common glass you'll see in the Joslyns. It is a Pyrex round style lens, and I think these are only ever seen in the MV121s and in the Spalding Metropolitan 250s. So this is the most common Joslyn MV121 glass you'll see. Now this one right here, like I had showed you in that last video, this is the one that I had in that Joslyn. And usually this glass can be found on Joslyn MV121s from Detroit. There's tons of MV121s up here that use this glass, and this one's also a Pyrex glass as well. The only things that you don't see on both of these glass lenses are any logos. It only just says Joslyn on the rim. And also these two lenses are interchangeable as they have the standard Streetlight rim pattern. So they're pretty compatible with other lights. Now this glass, of course, is unique. It is a symmetrical rim pattern. This oval shape is symmetrical on each side. It's not like this glass where it's wider on the front and then a little bit more narrow on the back. This one has its own pattern. So it's definitely a really extremely rare piece of glass. Unfortunately, mine has a bullet hole in it, so big thanks to the stupid idiot who shot this thing. But luckily it's not shot up anywhere else. It's a really nice, high quality piece of glass. It's just as high quality as these other glass lenses. It's super nice, super thick, super clean and clear and mold, and I don't remember who this one was made by. I think this one's also made by Pyrex, but let me go ahead and put it in the camera here so you guys can see. There we go. So you can actually see right there it says Holophane Enduro. So this is a Holophane lens. Pyrex's lenses are pretty commonly found on Joslyn, but lights, but Holophane also made lenses as well. If we go to the other side, oh, you can see it right there. It says Street End. And you can see it says Joslyn on this end. Really cool. And then it says House Side on that end. So yeah, pretty cool Holophane lens. I really, really like this glass. The design details in it, surprisingly for a Holophane glass lens, are pretty basic design details. There's really not a lot of detail on the lens. Not that that's a bad thing or anything. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it's pretty, for its time, it's a pretty blank lens. Not a lot of refractor patterns on it. But yeah, really cool. And last but not least, I can show you the logo on here. It is extremely, extremely tiny. You can see it says Joslyn. It's a really tiny Joslyn logo. It's really cool to see that on Joslyn's small glass here, because a lot of other companies didn't always put their logos on. So I'm glad that Joslyn did that. It makes it really, really special. So yeah, awesome piece of glass. Now that we've seen that, let's go ahead and go up and look at the fixture now. So like the later version MV121s, this Joslyn has the same inside setup as all of its other brothers and sisters, pretty much. This whole entire bracket mounting system comes out just by disconnecting these 4 screws here. You can take this whole assembly out, and even the slip fitters mounted into it. So basically, I don't know if I showed it in the last video, but this whole assembly comes out, and then all you're left with is just the housing, the pressed housing. I really like that Joslyn designed their lights this way, because what it essentially means is it's really easy to retrofit replacement ballasts, if needed, into these lights. So I think Joslyn definitely was on board to making these streetlights to the best of their ability. I think that unfortunately comes with a sacrifice of quality when it comes to the housing, but they at least put the effort in here to making sure that, you know, components can be mounted really easily, and this can be retrofitted really well if needed to. So I really like that Joslyn's fixtures are like that. But this specific kit right here for this one is set up for an MV141 almost, and it's because of this socket terminal here. This is the one you'll usually see in the MV141, where the connection points are actually mounted with the socket. So it's kind of interesting to see that. But yeah, let's go back down here. Of course, like I said, you got your screws here. This is your hinge where that long bar sits in, and that little divot in there helps to kind of clip it in a little bit. Of course, the slip fitter bolts here. The slip fitter is pretty much the same like the newer ones. Just cast aluminum. Nice stainless steel bolts as well. So pretty cool. This is all cast aluminum in here. It's all high quality. A lot of stainless steel parts. I will say though, these screws, I don't know if these screws are a high quality stainless steel, because these screws are kind of prone to shearing off, so just be careful if you ever get one of these. So yeah, really cool. Your terminal block, like I said, is mounted directly with the socket, so you can see right there it says 240 volts and then 175. So they got these really nice, especially with this socket, these really nice big clips. You just stick your wires, you can see, under that, and then the screw presses it down, and basically your connection is in. So really good quality. The socket's really nice too, and there is some room for adjustment. You really can only move it forward and back. There you can see a D right there. There's basically an A, B, C, D position, and D would be the farthest position back, and A would be the farthest position up. I've moved this one up to C because I did not like the position it was in originally. I prefer my lamps to be center at all times, and I'm not really a huge fan of these types of settings in streetlights, but it's there if you want to adjust your positioning for your lamp. So yep, pretty cool. And all your wires here come off and do all their mercury vapor stuff. This is these are your 2 hot contacts. You need to put 120 on both of these since this is a 240, and then this white one just comes from your photocell. That's your neutral. They like to use in these Joslyns all these rope, fiberglass rope coated wires, and as time goes on they can kind of degrade a little bit, but they're not in terrible shape and they're pretty nice. So you still got some plastic coating under there anyway, so no need to worry if that starts to come off. Oops, didn't mean to do that. But yeah, all your wires come from your photocell, and you can see the back of the photocell a little bit right there. You can kind of see the wires going up into the back. Pretty cool. And then they go over to your transformer over here. Now Joslyn really loves to use Jefferson brand ballast, and this one in particular is definitely older, and that's probably why this is a first generation Joslyn, because if you look here, it has one of those green tinfoil stickers, and you'll find those on a lot of older Jefferson ballasts. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in if it'll focus. I wish it would. There we go. You can see Jefferson Electrical Company, and they apparently look like they're from Bellwood, Illinois, so pretty interesting. 175 H39 mercury lamp, and then it says 240 volt supply. So yeah, pretty standard transformer. I will say though, even though it is a constant wattage transformer, it doesn't use a capacitor. 240 volts can be a little bit of a tricky thing to do when you're living in an apartment, but I definitely have ways of going around that. But really nice, as this transformer will never ever fail, so I'm really happy that they have a constant wattage transformer in it. So yeah, let's go ahead now and move up into the reflector here. I'm going to take this lamp out. Now this lamp actually came with this fixture. It's I think a Westinghouse Philips lamp, but I'm not sure. Yeah, just a Philips Westinghouse lamp. We'll go ahead and take a look at this in a minute here. Let me go ahead and take the reflector out here. So to get your reflector out on this specific Joslyn, all you gotta do is go to the front here. There's a little step thing here, and this piece of metal here just hangs on the front. And when you press it back, it kind of slides up and out, just like so. So really, really cool. Go ahead and push that over to the side for a minute. I do gotta clean this up a little bit more, but just a standard pressed aluminum reflector, pretty much like every other streetlight out there. So not too exciting. I will say I am a slight bit disappointed with this reflector, and that's because of the gasket. If you know me, I am definitely a huge fan of the black rubber gaskets, as they last a really long time. They can handle UV light. But these white ones are very notorious for breaking down quickly from the mercury light, just falling off. And not only that, they haze, and that haze gets inside these reflectors and fogs them up. So they're not very good. This one's not in terrible shape. If I do try to take it off, it does kind of start to crack, so I'm going to leave it for now. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of these gaskets at all. It's sadly I can't put a black gasket on here since this doesn't have a standard rim pattern, but I'll see if there's something I can do for it. Yeah, you can see where it already broke. I'm not a fan of those gaskets at all, but other than the gasket, this reflector is really nice, and it does have some nice light distribution details here, so pretty cool. And you can see that piece of stainless steel metal, that nice big hook. It's extended out quite far, and normally the MV121s, it would have that big reflector in here and would actually clip just under this right here. So it's pretty different in this light, and this one's kind of in the front here. So yeah, it's pretty different setup. I think they did this at the time because it was probably cheaper to just make the same parts and kind of just swap minor things around. so that they didn't have to make separate molds and spend extra money on them. But once these became a popular fixture, I'm guessing that they continue to make them better, as we saw with that version there. So yeah, pretty cool. And we can see our socket here again. It is a very nice high quality socket. And we got another insulating gasket there to help with moisture. I don't know if these gray gaskets are different in quality or in purpose from the black ones. If anyone knows why they made black, gray, and felt material gaskets, please let me know what purposes they served, or if they were just, you know, options for, you know, expense reasons. But yeah, really cool. Alright, and before I go ahead and put this light back together, let's take a look at this lamp that came with it. So this is a Philips Westinghouse lamp, and these lamps are pretty new. I don't know if they still make them as of right now with all the LED stuff taken over, but this isn't like the high quality Westinghouse style lamp that you usually find back then. So yeah, just a Philips Westinghouse lamp. But it is a 175, and it's pretty okay. So I'm going to go ahead, it does work, so I'm going to definitely keep it with this light here. But yeah, go ahead and screw that in, and let's go ahead and get this light hooked up and watch it warm up. So unfortunately, due to some minor power issues in the apartment here, I went ahead and brought this down to my boring kitchen to turn it on. So like I said, this is a 240 volt light, and I can get 240 volts. For right now, I have to do it down here if I want to turn on one of these 240 volt streetlights. So let me go ahead now and shut the lights off. And there's going to be a little bit of light coming in, but I'm going to kind of help on that. Let's see. Oh yeah, these pocket doors work perfectly. So yeah, alright. So this is my Joslyn MV121 first generation 175 watts mercury vapor in 1, 2, 3. So as you can see, it's a pretty quiet light. It's not very loud. It is just a 175 watt constant wattage ballast, so there really isn't anything crazy going on this light that would make it any louder than it already is. But yeah, it is super, super beautiful right now. So I'm gonna let you guys watch it warm up. Alright, so the streetlight is at full brightness. Let me move these pocket doors here so I can get in. It is a very nice fixture. I will say, even though it looks a little weird with its odd shape on the bottom, it actually is pretty impressive when it's on. It's just one of those things where you gotta look at it when it's, you know, not not daytime. So I'm going to go ahead and take the camera off the tripod, if I can do this smoothly. Oh, yes I can. Kinda. Wow. It is pretty nice, and it's very quiet. Like I said, it's just a 175 constant wattage ballast, so there's not really much noise this fixture can make. I will say this streetlight is... I mean, if you kind of look at it, it's not the brightest thing in the world. And that's just because the lamp, this lamp I think has been used for quite a long time now, so it's kind of at the end of its life, but it's not too bad. I can kind of look at the fixture without getting blinded, but yeah, it's really nice. Let me kind of come on the end here so you can see the rest of it without the light overexposing it. It is a beautiful fixture when it's on at night. I think just during the day it just looks, you know, kind of weird, but it's better when you see it on. So let's look at the glass. It's a shame that it's shot, but you know, I'll try not to make sure any more bullet holes get into this beautiful glass. Really beautiful glass. I love some of these older glass lenses that were made back in this time because some of these are just more basic. They don't put too many details on them, so they have kind of a simplistic appeal to them. And I really appreciate that. You can see the lamp in there. You can see that lovely Joslyn logo that they put on it. Really cool. I'm kind of surprised as to how tiny it is, but I guess since it's a small lens, they want to put on a small logo. Yeah. It's really nice. Again, try to get it from the side. Just have a little bit of a better angle where you can kind of, let me hide that a little bit. We can kind of see the rest of the fixture. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, it really is cool. I'll go ahead and turn a light on. I do have a shorting cap in it since I'm laying it at an awkward angle, but I will just kind of turn the light on to to make the camera not focus. Man, this camera's been really bad at focusing lately. Here we go. Yeah, now you can kind of see the fixture itself. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Alright, now that we've looked at it, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off, and I can take this thing upstairs and finish the video. Alright, I am back up in my room now, and yeah, I really enjoyed reviewing this Streetlight for you guys today. Even though it didn't have too much going, even though there wasn't really a lot to see in that light, the shape of it is definitely unique, and I think its history definitely needs to be preserved and definitely needs to be found, as there's probably a catalog somewhere that talks about this thing. If you guys enjoyed this video, please put a like down below, as that helps my channel grow. Also, I want to give a big shout out to Dan the Bulb Man on Light Gallery Net for reaching out to me. I contacted him and asked him some questions about this fixture, as I knew where it came from. I think he had posted pictures a long time ago of these lights, and I can put them up on the screen. And he had taken the time to speak to the municipal who was replacing them and try to work out a deal with the guy. And I contacted him because I knew he had all those resources, and he was nice enough to give me the guy's information. I had called the guy up and basically just asked if I could come grab some of these, and he said sure. And I would never have gotten this really rare version of this MV121 without Dan the Light Bulb Man responding back to me and telling me where I could find this fixture. So I drove 10 hours there and back, and the trip I think was worth it, not just because I got this, but I had seen a lot of other really cool stuff while I was on my voyage out there. So yeah, if any of you guys on this that are subscribed to me are on Light Gallery, please go check out his gallery. I think he has a few really good pictures, and he also got one of these as well. His is a little bit nicer than mine, and I think his is a slight bit different with the photocell being towards the back. So feel free to talk to him, ask him some questions if you guys are interested in knowing more about this fixture. And another thing too, which Joslyn is your guys' favorite Joslyn? Do you guys like the first generation Joslyn here? Or do you guys like the second generation Joslyn that is more refined and finished looking and has that nice glass? So please tell me what your guys' thoughts are on that, as I'd be very interested in knowing. Anyway, I hope you guys all have a great day, and happy collecting. Goodbye. Mm.